Hello again, or if you are new here, welcome. Today we're going to turn your photos into cartoon designs. This is a slightly simpler and faster method, but you still get a really cool design, so give it a go yourself and follow along the tutorial. So starting on Procreate, you're going to create a new artboard, and I suggest 3000 by 4000 pixels and 300 dpi. To bring in your photo, click the wrench in the top left corner, click Insert a Photo. Now to start, create a new layer above the image. And for the outline, I like to use a dark brown, but you could also use black. In the inking category of your brushes, you can find the Studio Pen, which is like a really nice sharp brush for the outlining. Or if you have the Update on Procreate, another good pen to use for that cartoon look is called the Jasinki brush, which is kind of like an ink marker graphic pen style. So this is the one I'm going to use today. Clicking into the brush brings up the settings, and I'm just going to bring up the stabilization so it's a bit more smooth. Now once we have our outline brushes selected, click 2 fingers on the original image and bring the opacity down. On top of the original image, in our first new layer, we are going to start the outline. Go around the face slowly and map out the facial features with your chosen brush. It does not need to be extremely detailed at this point, for we are going for more of a simple cartoon look, but just make sure to map out the outline of the main facial features, such as the nose, smile lines, the cheeks, the border of the face. Now for the lips, I always like to color select directly from the photo to get a nice pink, then just outlining the middle line of her lips, the top, and the bottom. Now for the eyebrows, for more of that simple cartoonish look, I'm just going to do a couple of the main eyebrow hairs at the front, and then do a long line to connect up the tail to the front. Now going back to the face, make sure you go around and connect it all up so that there are no gaps. Then just doing the body. So this is all still on that one outline layer. Make sure it all connects up so that when we drop in color, it will fill the whole area. This is optional, but on a new layer, I'm just going to map out the areas that are going to be plump and highlighted. So this is like areas like the cheeks, the top of the chin. This will make the coloring in process a little bit easier. For the hair, I'm just going to make the opacity of the original image 100 and directly color select from the original image. You want to find a darker area of her hair for the outline. Then once finished, I'm bringing the opacity back down. Now on top of a new layer, we're going to start the outline of the hair. Make sure you are on a new layer because you don't want to do this and then realize that you're on a layer you've just been working on and then you have to start again. So what I'm just going to do is hide all of the other layers so that I can see exactly the area that I'm working on, and then slowly just go around the hair. You can exaggerate it a little bit because we are doing a cartoon, it's not a realistic portrait, so if you want to make the hair a little bit bigger, you can. Just go around the shape that you want. So we are just mapping out the initial shape that we want, because once we have the initial shape mapped out, then we go in and add all the extra details later. And this is still with either the Studio Pen or the Jasinki brush. So that is the hair outline for now. You can check your progress. Now we're going to move on to the eyes, so on a new layer on top of the outline layer, selecting solid black, just do a circle in the middle for the pupil and the border of the top lash line. Same on the other side. Then for the eyelashes, I am using my eyelash thick brush, which if you don't have any eyelash brushes is a really good one to download. You can do as many or as little eyelashes here because it is more of a cartoon look. You want them to start at the base of the eye and curve upwards, kind of like a fingernail. And then going back with the Jasinki brush or the Studio Pen, just do an outline of the eye like this. Now going to the soft brush, we are actually going to use that just to buff out the black, to make that outer ring a bit more shaded and a bit more blended. For when we add color underneath, it looks really cool. You can zoom out now to check your progress. For her outfit, on a new layer, I'm using solid black because she has on this like spaghetti dress. So I'm just going around the top area of the dress and marking up any significant creases or features of the dress. And make sure whatever shape it is that you are outlining, that it always connects up for when we drop in color. I'm just adding some simple lines where there are creases in the dress. Just really simple because I don't want it to be very detailed at all. Now you can take a step back and look at the progress we have made. We have finished the outline of all of the main features. So now what I'm going to do, this is optional, but I'm just going to duplicate the original photo, bring it all the way down to the bottom layer, and just have it peeking in the corner so that we can look at it as we draw. So using my light tan color palette, which you can download from my Etsy if you do struggle to get colors for skin tones. Now let's drop in those skin colors. So on a new layer underneath the outline layer, make the outline layer reference. And on that new layer we have created, drop in the lightest shade. Now you're going to hide the outline layer. I just make the background color dark so that we can see the gaps, but see all these gaps, we want to fill those in. It is so annoying, so it is really important that you fill these in. Now let's get to the fun part. We are going to fill in some of the facial features. So on a new layer, I'm selecting a lighter brown. You always want to select a color which is lighter than the outline so that you can see the outline still when you fill in that color. So I'm just filling in the outer tips of the eyebrows, and then same for the lips. I'm color selecting the lips and then selecting a slightly lighter shade. This is just a light pink, and I'm just filling in the lips. Now for the eyes, I am just filling in with a pure white. For her eye color, I am just using a light brown for the base color, and then to add some highlighting and dimension to the color, I'm selecting just a slightly lighter brown and adding in some little flicks and little dots like this. Now for the inner corners of the eyes, which are red and pink, I'm just going to color select a light pink and do a little half circle at the inner corner of the eye and then go around the border of the top lash line. Once you are finished with the eyes, you can move on to the lips. So on a new layer above the original image, I'm selecting a darker red and using the soft brush to map out the shape of this inside crease in between her top and bottom lip. Once I have got that, I'm using a slightly more pink color and just going around the borders of the lips. Select a lighter pink and highlight the lips with that soft brush, doing lots of curved, almost zigzag shapes, and then making it even lighter again to build the highlight step by step gradually. You can do as much or as little highlighting as you want because, as always, we are creating a more cartoon portrait, so it does not have to be extremely realistic. I just want to show you how you can gradually build highlight and you can gradually build shading simply with the soft brush. Once you're finished with the lip detailing layer, drag it down to the outline layer and merge those two together. Now we're going to go back to the skin. I'm color selecting directly from the photo and getting this really nice peachy color that she has. And I'm just going to focus that around the main outlines that we initially mapped out in the beginning, avoiding filling in the areas that are going to be nice and plump, which I have mapped out earlier with my white lines that you can see there. So this is areas like the cheeks, the bridge and the tip of the nose, her chest, and collarbones. I'm color selecting from the photo again and getting a slightly darker shade, but you want to make sure that the shade is still nice and warm. And I'm going to focus that around the darker areas of her face, but first I'm just going to click clipping mask so that it is going to suction to the layer below. And then I'm going to go back in with the soft brush in that color and focus it around the eyes and lightly dusting it around the face and the rest of the body. Using the smudge tool, I'm going to just slightly blend out some of the harsher lines. You can keep these harsh lines if you want, because it does give it kind of like a comic book feel and a more cartoon feel if it's a bit more blocky. For your next level of shading, select a darker brown and go around the areas of the original photo which are dark, so such as the eyeshadow areas, the jawline. And what I like to do with the jawline is just dump a bunch of color in, and then on the top line of the jaw, just erase it away so that it is nice and sharp. Then using the smudge tool, I'm just blending it out a little bit. Selecting a darker brown, almost black, focus it around the top lash line and the crease, and the same on the other side. You can check your progress, see if you want to add more or erase some away. And when you're finished, you can merge that with the shading layer below. At this point now, you can also delete that guideline layer. And now we are going to add highlighting, so take a look at the areas of the original image which are nice and light, and where you're going to focus your highlighting on. So on a new layer above the original image, using solid white or a very, very light skin tone color. In the hard round brush, lightly dust in that white color using circular motions in the areas that are the most plump or the most highlighted. For this person that I am drawing, this is areas of the nose, cheeks, the forehead, the chin, her collarbones, the highest points of her shoulders, and her chest. Zoom out and check your progress. It actually is amazing to see how much a difference that adding simple highlighting can do to a portrait. And I'm just going in with the smudge tool and slightly smudging out the edges of the highlight that I've added. Again, this is optional. Once you are done with that highlighting layer, drag it from the top all the way down underneath the outline layer. This next part is optional as well, but I'm just going to softly erase away these smile lines so that they just don't stick out as much, and some lines around the collarbones. Now going back to the eyes, I'm going to look at the areas which are really bright, grab pure white, and just with the soft brush, I'm going to add in some little circular flecks. And this is on the eyelash layer. The face should be all done for now, so group all of those layers together to keep them nice and tidy. Now she's looking quite naked, so I'm going to make the outline layer reference and just drop in a dark gray. We will come back to her outfit later, but for now, make the hair outline reference. And this next part is a really good example of why you need to make sure that your layers that you're going to drop color into all connect up, because as you can see here, I try to drop in color and it is not filling. So what you need to do is on the outline layer of the hair, you need to make sure that everything connects up. So even the hairline around the forehead, and even after doing that, it's still not all connected up and the color is not dropping in. So this is when you need to go around the hair and find the gaps, fill in those gaps, because you want the color to drop in perfectly. Like that. That means that I have filled up all of my gaps and my layer is complete. So fill up all of the hair with color. Make sure to get any small pixels or gaps that have not been filled in. Now you can erase away the color that was on the forehead, matching it up to the hairline from the original image, and also erase away that line. Slightly erase away some color along the middle parting or side parting if you have. Next, to add some detail to the hair outline layer, color select the original color that we used for the outline. And we're going to just add lots of little filler lines in between the main sections of the hair, making sure that they don't touch each other, but they just fill in alongside each other. You can add as little or as many as you want, varying in shapes, like do some shorter ones and then do some really long ones. To add shading or some more color to the hair layer, you're going to create a new layer on top, click Clipping Mask, and then using my highlight brush from my brush pack, I'm going to use it as a low light almost and focus it around curves of her hair, so like around the curls, underneath her bangs, and around her roots. Zoom out and check your progress, see if you want to add any more or erase some away, and then merge those layers together. For these highlighted areas or different colored areas of the hair, You can color select directly from the photo. On a new layer, and I'm using the Jasinki brush, but you can use the studio pen or just a standard hairbrush. I'm adding in a few strands, some larger ones and then some thinner ones in those areas, making sure to bend with the curves of the curls that I've added in. Then to soften up the edges, I'm just erasing them away very slightly, just to soften up the tips so that it looks like it's blended in with the rest of the hair a little bit more, and gives off the effect that it's mixed in with the other strands too. Using different shades of pink, I'm just adding a few sporadic strands just to add a little bit more dimension. And it makes the hair look really cool and detailed with just a few simple tones. Next, I'm going to show you a cool trick to highlight the hair. So in the studio pen, select a lighter pink color or just a lighter shade of the hair color that you are working with. And you're going to add in a bunch of really loose, just back and forth curved lines like this, depending on the curve of the hair. And then on top, do the same with an even lighter color. And then in the soft brush with the erase tool, erase away the top and the bottom edges so that it is really blended out, and what is left is this shiny finish. You literally want to erase away almost all of it, but just leaving that center area. So go and do that around the remaining areas of the hair, which you want to be shiny. So this is usually bouncy areas of the hair, such as the tops of curls or even up the top by the hairline. Once you are finished with that and you are happy with the shine that you've added, group all of your hair layers together. Now at this point, I suggest you duplicate your art so that you can then flatten the main layers, so the face layer, the outfit layer, and the hair layer. Now to add some detailing to her outfit, I'm just getting the solid black and I'm just dumping that color all around the guidelines that we initially made, highlighting the creases of her top and just coloring it in a little bit, and then just simply click clipping mask and that will suction cup that directly to the layer below. Once finished, as always, merge those layers together. Now I'm just going to add some more shading to the hair, so on a new layer on top of the hair, in a really dark color, almost a black, I'm just going to dust this color around the neckline and kind of the root area of the hair, and then just like before, click clipping mask and that will suction it to the layer below. And then merge those layers together. Now I'm just going to add some finishing touches like adding in her piercings. You can use the Jasinki brush or the studio pen. If you would like, in those same brushes, you can add some loose strands around the hair. Zoom out to check your progress, see if you want to take some away or add some more. Once you're happy, group all of those layers together, and then you can delete the original photos. Now to do a simple background, create a new layer and drag it underneath her body. Then drop in a color of your choice. I'm choosing this pale green. And in the luminance section of the standard Procreate brushes is a really cool brush that allows you just to do this kind of light leak effect. It's almost like a shimmer. I decided against using it today, but I just wanted to point it out because I think it is a really cool brush to use. So what I'm doing here is I just made a circle with the studio pen or the Jasinki brush, and then I'm just going in with these tiny little florals, tiny little leaves, and adding in some pale purple in the background, just to frame it quite delicately with something elegant. Don't forget to always sign your art, and there you go, you have now created a cartoon version of a photo of your choice. Try it on your own photo or surprise a family member or friend. This is Editing Emma. I wanted to say thank you so much for drawing with me today. I hope that you found this tutorial informative and you could follow it. So please let me know in the comments your feedback and if you gave this a go yourself and what you want to see next. And what else? Subscribe and like the video, please. It helps me out so much and it's free. So